fastest in the second qualifying session was John Colborne in his wild orange Tirana SS.
We had a good run yesterday, made a few adjustments, and yeah, pretty happy with the pace of the car. We love it over here, we love the atmosphere, the people here treat us really well. It's a great track, there's a fast flowing part of it, and there's a tight off-camber stuff, and it's got all sorts going for it actually, this track. We've got to run the 308 or 304 block, the original block, but other than that, internals and that are free, with heads and internals, so it's got a stroker crank in it, which is an Oz crank. Runs Yellow Terra modified heads with a torque power manifold. Power's right now it's around 665 horsepower and 565 foot-pound of torque. Struggling to get traction down and get it so we can get out of the corners quick enough, but I'm looking forward to the extra cubes I've got this time around, a bit more power, sort of hopefully staying up there with the likes of Stubbers and what have you.
My old sparring partner Foggy was there in a cool 63 Chev Nova, lamenting his lack of previous track time at Eastern Creek.
I've still got 8 cylinders, but that's about the only comparison. It's a Chevrolet, and I usually race a Ford. I'm absolutely loving it. The last time I was here was in 2001 with Team Kiwi, and unfortunately we didn't qualify with Jason driving, so I haven't been back since, but driving around the track, it's magic. It really is. Up and down and left, right, it's a bit of a brain teaser actually. Pukekohe's a different, it's a real ballsy circuit. This is probably a more technical and delicate circuit, and still a few balls. So that big corner off the front straight, that's you got to take a deep breath going into that.
One car that really captivated the Aussie crowd was Craig Stacey's Javelin.
Just doing a bit of fine tuning. Car's going good, and everyone's Googling all over it. I haven't seen one of these over here ever, I don't think. So yeah, no, it's going good. Really enjoying the track. This is up and down and around 3D. It's just so cool. Some Woolwood brakes on the front and some sticky Kumo tyres. So really, other than that, it's just a production muscle car. It's a real great track. Yeah, magic. Yeah.
Early Camaro, early Camaro, early Camaro.
Well, a lot of corners, heaps of corners, some negative camber, yeah. So it's an elevation of the circuit, up and down, coming up over a rise and not knowing whether it goes left or right. So yeah, you've got to rely on your old frail memory to which way the corner's going to go. So it's a nervous time right now. Yeah, I'll going to have a nervous pee shortly. Trevor here is on the Moselle panel and paint team, and he's looking after everything. I'm not doing anything now, I just steer it. Yeah, it's great coming to Australia, I just drive it, don't have to fix it anymore. We do get pretty serious, but I guess you don't want to get to the stage where you're tagging each other, We are only racing for a $12 trophy after all, so got to keep that in perspective, I guess.
And at 6th fastest qualifier, Billy's finding some early pace as we head into race 1. Aussie Paul Stubber and his Camaro is on pole alongside Kiwi Shane Wigston. Off the start, Bruce Anderson wins the burnout competition and Stubber races away to an early lead. And watch Paul Sinclair there in the blue VK Commodore slotting up into 3rd place. All a little bit more gentlemanly further back. And Stubber in his usual sideways style opens a gap over Wigston. Down the front straight it's Stubber from Wigston, Sinclair, Anderson, Colburn. Now with the Aussie cars running on a slightly different tyre to the Kiwi ones, Wigston had a plan to hold back, save his tyres and hopefully grip up later in the race. And here we see that coming into action as Stubber and headed out. Now translated, that means Stubber went wide into turn 1 and Wigston slipped through. Gee, this commentary thing's hard. So anyway, now it's Wigston from Stubber from Sinclair, and Shane's strategy has really paid off. Stubber doesn't give up, keeps trying really hard, but in the end, it's Wigston takes the win from Paul Stubber, Sinclair chasing him hard all the way to the line.
That was an awesome race, very good race. I really enjoyed that with Stubber. He's really good to race against, so yeah. It was good. He drove really well. I think his tyres just went off towards the end, and that was it. So yeah, we were lucky, but I'll take that one. I enjoyed that.
Really neat, Shane.
It was good fun, eh?
Covered yourself once over there, sort of towards the last lap.
No.
We're all just having a good crack.
Yeah,
And so we head to race 2, as Shane Johnson and Bruce Kett head to the line. The second race of the weekend is a reverse grid handicap start where the cars go at different intervals. Although no one told Vern Miller and Sarge that as they go on the first drop of the flag. On board with Shane Wigston, ready for a hard launch. Go, Shane. Go, traction. And we're away! Don't take up drag racing just yet, Shane. Yet again, Stubber, Sinclair and Wigston closing in, resume battle. Stubber unleashes on Fog to set up a smoke screen. Wigston in avoidance. Another view from onboard Wigston's car, and you see Stubber straight into the side of Foggy, and off he goes. And Foggy was just a little bit grumpy about that after the race. But really, he didn't have a hell of a lot to complain about when you compare it to what was waiting for Shane Johnson and friends at turn 1. Back on board with Wigston as he's halfway through turn 1 and arrives at total carnage.
Yeah, that was very big. I think there'll be a few very destroyed cars. I remember seeing Shane Johnson's come across the track backwards and it looked like the Mustang had no front left on it whatsoever, so it was just carnage. I don't know how it happened, but there were cars going everywhere. One of the biggest crashes I've seen from where I was sitting.
Started off in 13th position, was fighting my way up to 4th. It was the last lap on the fast left-hand sweeper. Got into a bit of a situation of trying to evade a car and ended up in a real bad position on the track, and the old Muzzy got nailed. So, but we're all good and fine, and we're already under plans to rebuild it, and we'll be back out there as soon as we can get a decent body shell. Been a lot of help from other people to get the car back on the road, and it's just the whole aspect of the group of people we were with, how helpful they've been, and we'll hope to get it running for the opening of Hampton Downs is going to be my goal, so early next year, and we'll be back out there hopefully faster and better than ever.
Tough break, Shane, but good to see you still smiling about it. And somehow it was as if Alan Grice summoned up all the wrath of the dark side as Mandy Sinclair arrived on the scene with nowhere to go.
Yeah, no, it was a big crash, actually, a big hit. I'm lucky. I think it's just the back end of my car. The other two cars are definitely out, yeah. I'd say they'll be write-offs.
It's not a competition, but I think the biggest loser here is Bruce Kett in his newly finished Cambridge replica Camaro, who came away with more than just twisted metal.
Bruce is heading off to hospital just to be checked up, but he's okay. Shane's definitely knocked out. He was slumping over the wheel there for a little while, but he's walking around now and he's fine.
Fine? I'd hate to see your definition of banged up, Mandy. Hello, NAC Insurance. I'd like to make a claim, please. But no claim was needed when at the prize giving on Sunday night, in one of the greatest moments of motorsport altruism I've ever seen, the boys from the Moselle Panel and Paint team stood up and offered, free of charge, their services to repair all 3 cars involved in the accident. You guys rock. And all this fun on NZV8TV has been brought to you by Smiths Group, suppliers of leading automotive brands. And NAC Insurance. Not quite standard? Well, neither are they. Check them out on nac.co.nz. The Kiwi winners at Bathurst, Stephen Richards with 1, Greg Murphy with 4, and Jim Richards 7. You bloody legend.
This is Alan Grice for NZV8TV.